Hey everyone, welcome back. I wanted to go over the updates to my income portfolio. I have an IRA around $30,000 that I'm using for income investments, mostly high yield from Yield Max or Granite Shares or Roundhill. I don't own any Roundhill yet, but anyway, I'm trying to create an income portfolio from this just as an experiment to see how high I can grow it. And I also wanted to talk about ULTY and ULTY. I wanted to talk about that from Yield Max that I own, and I wanted to talk about why I'm not selling yet. So I just wanted to go over my personal experience with it and some of the calculations that I've done. So let's get started. Move me out of the way here. This is my portfolio. Before we get to that, let's show the disclaimer here. I'm not a financial advisor. This content on this channel that I post is just for educational and entertainment purposes only. And I 100% mean that. Don't do anything based on what I say. Seek out a financial advisor, a professional, to give you advice if it's needed. I'm just trying to show my personal journey here and what I have been doing. So if we look at the portfolio real quick, um, maybe I can zoom in on this a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, okay. If I can zoom in a little bit. So this week has actually been pretty good. I got 268 total dividends from various stocks. I think all of the Yield Max ones. Yeah, this is the first week that several have been paying monthly. So HOOY at $20 there, PLTY $31. This is their second week actually. I think of second week. Looks like their second week of weekly distributions, which is pretty good. PLTY, same there. LFGY is pretty consistent, $30 there. GPTY was up quite a bit actually. I've been getting around $18, $19, and I got 28 this past week, which was pretty good. Up here in my more conservative ones too, I did get the SPY-I and QQQI, which are about on par of what they were last month. So that's good. The ones that I don't mark in green out here are ones that I haven't received yet, but they have declared their distribution. So those are pretty unexciting. Again, I'm trying to base this portfolio off of if I wanted to put in more money in. Right now, I have 29,000 in this IRA account, so I'm just kind of using that as an experiment. So I have 30% in more conservative dividend distribution income, whatever you want to call them, ETFs, but then 70% in higher yielding ones. As you can see, again, I have quite a bit of yield max, which I don't know. I did that kind of before I learned a lot about other companies. So I need to get rid of some of these yield max ones, get more Roundhill in here. I really like the Neos ones, and even the Granite Shares TSYY. I'm liking that one recently. So I'd like to get a little more diversified as far as who these fund managers are. So I'll be working on that as a goal over the coming months to try and do that as well. Anyway, overall portfolio is looking pretty good today. Today is an up day. It's been a little rough the last week. This was down 300 overall, I think, yesterday, and today we recovered quite nicely. So this is my total yield on the account, which all of my income from distributions and dividends are dripped back into the same stock. I don't stack the dividends. I don't hold them waiting for to time the market. I just have it automatically do it at the time. Most of these are so small right now that it doesn't really matter. If I were getting more serious distributions here, I might try to pick and choose where I want to reinvest those dividends. But for right now, I'm just keeping it easy for myself. Okay, that's a dividend update. Again, my total return right now is 2.2%. And projected dividends, I've gotten 1242 total in from all of my, I say dividends, distributions, whatever you want to call them. 1242 so far in the past about month that I've owned this portfolio. Market change has been down 582 overall, but because of the dividends, I'm up 659 or the 2.2% return there. So Overall, pretty good. Dividends wise, projected is 13,000 for the year, which on a $29,000 total account value is a 44% return on my initial investment. I'm not putting anything else back into this account. I'm just growing it through dripping all of the dividends and distributions. Okay, so that's the portfolio. If you have any questions about it, yeah, let me know. Leave a comment below. I wanted to go over the ULTY scenarios. So I put together this spreadsheet. Essentially, when I bought the shares that I own of ULTY initially, what the dividend was, what the stock price was at that point. Um, so I put in 1417, 1,417 US dollars into it, and the dividend was paying 0.09 every week. So I basically use that, and I know right now ULTY is sitting around $5.07. Um, so I put that in here. All of the dividends that are paid are then dripped back into the account for the next week, because they'll earn the next week's dividend. So you can see here I started with 254 shares, and then I got 258. That 258 comes from 254 plus the 4 shares from the previous week. So then my new value here is 1415. This tracks the market gain loss. This is also the total return because all of the dividends are reinvested. So this tracks the total yield on the account. So what I've got up here is essentially where we're going to do the analysis. So if I set this to, let's just say -2% for both, that means the stock price every week is dropping 2%, and the dividend is also dropping 2%. We can see throughout the weeks that at the end, the total yield will be -20%, 19.29%. So on the $1,400 initial investment, my return would be down $273. I did get $1,000 in dividends, but overall I'm down $273, which isn't great. However, if you look at 2% decline, the dividend has been pretty consistent at 9 cents right now. So I don't know how realistic that is, but essentially I said 1.7 drop on each, which is what I had in here before. That's about the break even. So with that, I'm at a 5% yield, a return, total return of -$80, which, who really cares on 1417? Obviously, I'd like to make money, but that's kind of the break even point. So anything that happens above this is overall positive. So let's just say, and so I have a little chart here that says, okay, if the dividend payout decreases or increases and the stock price increases or decrease, what's the overall income, or what's the overall outcome, I should say. So I have -1.7 and -1.7 is break even. So I called that green because if the dividend decreases and the stock price decrease, as long as that decrease is less than that 1.7% for both, then it ends up being a net positive for me overall through the course of the year. So let's just say 0-0 case. Stock price doesn't move, stays right at 558, which I know it's gone down a little bit, but if hypothetically it would have, and the dividend stays the same, in the end, it's looking really good. I got a yield of 126%, 1,800 in dividends, and then only a small loss. Not sure where that came from exactly. It's probably just math. But if stock price doesn't move, yeah, I don't know, but it should be around the same as my initial investment plus the dividends. So it should be 1417 plus that. 259 minus 56. 259. Oh, so the account. Okay. 259 minus F6. Okay. So the current NAV is what the market value is minus my initial investment, which is this. This isn't the total return. Well, I guess it is the total return. This is the total return of the market value, which now includes the dividends that were reinvested. So it does include the dividends that were put in as well. So But yeah, these should be equal. I'm not sure why they're off by a little bit, but I think it's math based on the how many dividends that I can actually, or how many shares that I can get, because the dividend does not divide equally by that. So that's small math there. If the stock price were to go up, let's say by, or let's say the stock price goes, this stays the same, and the dividend ends up dropping, um, whatever, 2%. In that case, you're still seeing at the end, total yield is still 67.5%. So the dividend you can see here week after week is going down from 9 cents, drops all the way down to 3 cents here. Um, but as the dividend's dropping and the stock price is staying the same, essentially you're getting less and less dividends, but you're reinvesting those, so you're slowly gaining more shares from the 254 all the way down to 425. Now you're getting less and less shares of those, but the fact is that your value is staying the same because the stock price is staying the same. Um, let's reverse that. If the stock price goes down, but the dividend stays the same, in that case, you're going to start off a little negative, because of the loss of value of the shares that you own. However, eventually that dripping, um, basically turns um, the overall gain around to, now you're at still a 45% total yield. Total return is $639, and you receive $2,333 in dividends, which is pretty great. And the nice thing is, at the end of a year, this time next year, you have 1,000 shares now that you started with 254. So that's 750, 780 shares that you've increased, and that you're getting this dividend now. So you are losing market value of those shares, but the dividend is staying the same. Now, again, would that happen? I don't know. I doubt that the market or the share price would go down, but the dividend would stay the same, even though they've been keeping it that way. Um, and then obviously, if both increase, let's say by 2%, just putting in some numbers here, they both increase by 2%, it's a win-win. Your market value goes up, and we're at $15, which who would ever think that ULTY would be at that? But the dividends going up too, which again doesn't seem realistic, but you've got a great return here, that you've got 574 shares, over double your shares that you started with, and you're now getting $141 every week of dividends. So again, in all of these cases, I'm seeing that for me, it's still okay to hold ULTY. Um, Part of what I'm looking at is trying to figure out, okay, if the stock price declines, let's say 1%, the dividend stays the same, which is roughly, where we're at. Maybe it was 2%, which is roughly where we're at now, where the stock price, this week, like I said, it's at 507 or 509, something like that right now. So it's roughly around there. It's doing this right now. The dividend's staying the same, going down very slightly. So we are down a little bit. But if this trend continues the way it has, and the market price continues to drop, like I said, eventually in March here, we'll start to turn the corner and, be in the positive again overall. So, I'm looking at this saying, okay, well, the dividends are going up because I'm dripping all of those shares back in, even though the stock price is going down. So even down here at a year from now, if the stock price is $1.99, but the dividend stays the same, I'm still overall going to be, positive, because my market value of those shares is $2,056. So I think that is enough to convince me to hold on to it for a little while. As I continue to, watch what the price is doing, and like I said, luckily today it actually went up, so I'm feeling better about it. But as I as I continue to look at this share price to try to understand, is it going to keep going down? Is it going up? Are they keeping the dividend the same? I'm going to evaluate that each week and decide, okay, is it worth selling or not at that point? Um, the other thing that I was looking at is here, where I'm saying, okay, if my current holding right now on ULTY, the current price is 507, and I've got 267 shares currently. The market value is 1355. If I were to take this 1355 and sell ULTY today, right now, I could buy 25 shares of WPay. And WPay right now is paying, based on their last payment, $21.25. So if I were to sell ULTY and buy WPay, oh, here's the most recent, yeah, 9 cents and 85 cents by WPay, which WPay is, I think, going to be all over the place because it's still new. However, even though they pay more, I'm still getting more with ULTY right now. Now it's very close. I'm only going to lose $2.81. Now that is every week, but right now I'm going to lose $3 a week if I switch to WPay. Now you have to take into account, well, if ULTY keeps dropping the stock price as it has, then this $3 may be worth it. And you have to take into account growth and all that other stuff. But it's just another way to look at it to say, okay, if I were to sell these shares of ULTY right now, would my income, my weekly income suffer? And yes, it would, by $3. Now, again, maybe that's okay. I can, make that decision based on all the other information, but at least it gives me a guideline to say, if WPay was paying $1.50, it's like, oh, okay, well, I should do that because now it's going to increase my income by $13. So that's a pretty big difference. Now you can look at just the yields by themselves and kind of do that same comparison, but sometimes when you're looking at selling something, you need to look at what the current market value that you can get for it is and compare that to um, the yield to say, okay, am I getting a higher yield than I currently am with ULTY, because ULTY has the advantage that I've been dripping shares back into it. So I do have more shares, so my yield is higher probably than listed, um, assuming the stock price stays the same. Anyway, hopefully that made some sense. Again, these are all just the tools that I'm using personally to kind of analyze this and adjust my portfolio here to this. Um, and as you can see, I've got tons of data here, just trying to, do different calculations to figure out where I should move money and if this is going to work long term for me. Got some graphs down here, trying to track each of the months. I just started at the end of September, so in October I'm already close to $1,000 of um, distributions, dividends, which is awesome. Um, anyway, so that's my portfolio. That's my analysis of ULTY for right now for me. That's the conversation I'm having with myself as I'm evaluating it. So yeah, let me know what you think about ULTY, what you're doing with it. I see a lot of YouTube comments about some people are selling it. A lot of people are selling it, not happy with it, especially this week has been pretty rough. But yeah, let me know. Thanks.